Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock. With news, China is rolling out more big infrastructure projects. But first, American inflation had its largest rise in 6 months in October. Rising petrol prices and rents were notable from September. Their CPI was up 1.6% year on year, up 2.1% when you exclude food and energy. Janet Yellen said earlier today that a rate hike could come relatively soon. The evidence is overwhelming now for a rate hike on December 15. The number of American jobless claims fell sharply last week to the lowest level since 1973, while the number of housing starts rose sharply, up 4.6% on the same month a year ago. Real after-inflation wages rose 1.2% in the year to October, and average wage earnings in the US are now at $1,264 a week. The new American administration is being gifted a very healthy economy. This data has arrested yesterday's question marks about the prospects of higher interest rates fairly soon. In China, they have just approved the building of 5 new major rail projects to the tune of $40 billion of investment stimulus. And Chinese data out overnight also shows the flood of funds leaving the country is accelerating. Outward direct investment from China was more than $200 billion, a 50% rise in 10 months to October. Most of the buying is of American assets, up an eye-watering 175%. It's also noticeable that Chinese firms are not supporting their government's Belt and Road projects to anywhere near the same extent. These are up just a much more modest 30%. Singapore is doing it tough on trade these days. Their non-oil domestic exports posted their largest decline in 7 months in October. They were down 12%, and that follows a 5% drop in September. The falls have been driven by a slump in pharmaceutical exports. In Australia, an accounting firm with a client base of wealthy Sydneysiders has lost a high-profile tax evasion case, which will see many of them having to cough up millions to settle offshore tax arrangements. Samoa is a link in some of them. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield is now up to 2.27% on the very good US data out today. US benchmark oil price is marginally higher today, now just under $46 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is just under $47 a barrel. The gold price is unchanged at $1,225 an ounce. New Zealand dollar will start today just a little lower at 70.6 US cents. On the cross rates, it's now at 94.6 Aussie cents, and against the euro, 66.2 euro cents. The TWI is still at 76. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.